I was like, Grandma, get off me. It was so weird.
You gotta put her in a home, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I don't know.
I'll just shut up. Welcome to Film Club, the first episode, the inaugural kickoff party. Today we will be discussing X-Men Apocalypse. On our panel today we have Steve, Andre, Christian, and Josh. Alright, well thanks for coming guys, and thanks for watching. Just kidding, I hate all of you.
We especially hate all of you.
Alright, so X-Men Apocalypse, it's the third installment of the latest X-Men trilogy. It's technically the 9th X-Men movie, and I just realized what a hypocrite I have been, because I'm one of those people who's kind of taken the piss out of Hollywood for all the sequels that have been happening recently, and I just realized how much of an avid X-Men watcher I am. I watched all the X-Men movies in a marathon this summer with my cousin, and I realized there's 9 installments, and I've never complained about X-Men doing it, but just take that in for a minute. There's been 9 X-Men.
It must have been excruciating.
X-Men Origins Wolverine was excruciating.
The Wolverine is pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
Wolverine, I don't remember if
I
they
never
Yeah.
see those two.
Don't.
It's
Yeah.
one of the X-Men movies that you just want to miss, you know?
Okay,
Like,
it depends though. Okay, I'm a big Wolverine fan
Agreed.
as the hero himself, and Hugh Jackman is marvelous in that role. No
I think
pun
Hugh
intended.
Jackman's a great actor.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think anybody's dissing Hugh Jackman. I think the Wolverine movie, I think more or less got legs because they're like, all right, well, even though you're like almost 50 now, apparently like 90% of women still want to fuck you, and about 8% of men. So
Oh.
here we are.
All right.
I'm part of that statistic.
Right on. Expectations going into this movie were high. I'm gonna base that, and so was Andre. I'm gonna base that on how much I enjoyed Days of Future Past and First Class as well. I thought both movies were good, especially Days of Future Past. And so my expectations going in for high. Steve?
My expectations were kind of middling. Obviously, there's been a lot of superhero movies coming out for the last, since whenever the Avengers came out. It's been the only movies that have come out, really. But my expectations were kind of in the middle. I'd say it surpassed my expectations in that I thought it was about as good as Civil War or the other kind of movies you would put it in a comparison.
Okay.
Yeah, I was when I was sitting in the theater, the buddy of mine who I went to see it with actually asked me, he's like, what do you think of this movie, or how do you think it's going to be? And that prompted me at that moment to think about the trailer, which I saw, and I was like, 6, 7 out of 10. And at that point I just dropped all my baggage. So I had 0 expectations going into that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, and it actually helped me enjoy it a little more, so that's all I have to say for that.
yeah, my expectations were pretty high, I guess. I didn't see too many of the trailers, and I haven't read all the comics, but I really like Days of Future Past. I'm a big fan of time travel, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac's a great actor, obviously from Star Wars and his other films, and Fassbender and McAvoy, like you said. I also think that the CGI and the technology's caught up enough that they can do X-Men movies properly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the first two at how well they seem to hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the CGI looks really bad, but a lot of it's practical fighting effects that seem to work.
Yeah, they try to make it realistic.
Still works surprisingly well. I guess it's kind of the benefit of having Hugh Jackman.
Well, a little bit more realistic in terms of
A live
X-Men
action
and
fight,
special
right?
effects, you know, like in,
Sabretooth looked good right in the first movies.
Josh, expectations?
I actually had pretty high expectations.
Yeah.
I saw Days of Future Past, and I thought it was a pretty good film, and
Yeah.
They everywhere I went, I saw advertisements for X-Men Apocalypse. They had them on bus stops, buses, like everywhere you go, like you'd see advertisements for this film. But I actually didn't end up liking it nearly as much as I thought. Like I was pretty disappointed, to be honest.
And we'll get to that later.
Okay.
All right, but I want to hear everyone's thoughts on the film. So we're gonna start with Steve.
The Quicksilver sequence they do, both in what is it, the Pentagon in the first time they do it,
Yeah.
where he's dealing with the guards, and this time, as he tastes the soup, that's just excellent. And in this one, he as they play Sweet Dreams, and he wanders into the Mutant Academy in the middle of a bomb exploding. Honestly, that was the high point of the movie to me. I thought that was about as good a depiction of a superhero's powers and how they interact with the world around them as has been put on screen. One thing that kind of bothers me in some of the superhero movies that's come along is they don't really... The fact that everyone's constantly cracking wise kind of detracts from the gravity of the situation a little bit. But I think like Quicksilver kind of wandering through this super aloof makes sense, just in that he is exclusively dealing with things at a pace that they're basically standing still to him. So he can't help but be aloof and somewhat unable to take these things seriously when you can see a bullet and just walk around it, in my opinion.
Is that true? That he exclusively sees things like that? Like, how does he have conversations? I feel like he can turn it on and off.
That's a good question, actually, and I don't know exactly how they explain that.
That's
and that he
question.
must be able to, because he must be able to, like, obviously he can have conversations and stuff, but even later in the movie when he's dealing with Apocalypse, like, Apocalypse can't keep track of where he is. He could walk right up to him as if he's basically a statue, I thought. The Four Horsemen, this selection, I get that Angel is in the comics in the storyline. He is one of them. I think they could have just found a better slot. I don't think a guy who flies is a particularly compelling character, considering all the, like, every other mutant you see come up. I just would put forth that he is infinitely lamer than every other mutant that has any screen time in this movie. And Psylocke, for example, I thought is a really cool mutant, but I was a little confused as to why she had about 50 words of dialogue. I expected a little bit more in that. And I did think the ending was a little bit anticlimactic. I thought it, again, spoiler alert, obviously you already mentioned Dark Phoenix. I thought it was a really nice touch that they that as Apocalypse died, he marveled at Jean Grey unleashing, like, she unleashes her true potential, or like some of her potential for a moment, and he's like, he when he dies, he doesn't even seem upset. He's marveling at what he's viewing as it happens.
I could totally see that.
See that in the expression.
It's not a shit. I'm done.
Like, he looked like in awe.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is, like, because he is the first mutant, so I guess he kind of sees anything that comes from him as an offspring. It's the same thing with Professor X. He marvels at what he's capable of, and he does the same thing with Jean Grey. But I thought that could have been done a little bit more elegantly. Maybe she gets hurt or something and rises as Phoenix, as Phoenixes are wont to do, or make him vaguely aware of what she's capable of, and maybe she's the target he's after.
One of the things I didn't like, one thing that often disappoints me about these comic book movies is they do miss out on even going even slightly artistic with the movies. So, like, what you brought up, the idea of, like, the Phoenix rising from the ashes, right? And they just didn't tie that metaphor into the movie. Like, Oscar Isaac has a line where he says, well, from the ashes we'll build a new world, right? And the world is crumbling, and then at the end you just get this kind of gratuitous, well, she's the Phoenix kind of thing, right? So I feel like there's a lot of symbolism and imagery in the movie that just kind of ends up falling flat. Besides that, I think ultimately for me, the flaws or shortcomings in the movie are forgivable. in terms of getting really awesome scenes of Quicksilver doing his thing, and you got two of them this time. That, like, yeah, you
1.5.
1.5. Yeah, you get a little brief one at the end of him fighting Apocalypse at the end. I thought they did a fairly good job with Oscar Isaac and writing his lines and giving him the weight that he deserves, and they didn't just focus on him, and they didn't use him or the other two leads, Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, as crutches. But at the same time, I felt like the acting for the rest of the cast was left a little bit to be desired. I thought it was enjoyable, but maybe not as nice and shiny as Days of Future Past was.
Okay. Quite. And Christian?
It feels like another passing of the torch movie to like the younger actors, right? And I thought, and because they've been doing the movies like 1963, 1973, 1983, and like James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender have only aged like 5 years, right? In real life. So you got Alex Summers, who's supposed to be Cyclops, Scott Summers' brother, but in the timeline of the movie, he's actually like 20 years older, 25 years older. Who knows? It's like, it looks really weird, right? If you actually think about it, right?
Yeah, I didn't actually even think about
Yeah.
that, but you're
Even
right.
Quicksilver doesn't look older.
Because,
like, he seems
like-
like he's the exact
He's like
same.
the exact same. He hasn't aged at all.
But they do kind of tie that in, right? He's like, oh, I'm a slacker. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. I was surprised they actually did kill off a couple characters, that they actually went that route, because if you're used to seeing
Yeah.
Marvel movies, they
Alex
never
Summers.
kill anybody off at all, and there's no
Yeah.
stakes whatsoever, right? So
Uncle Ben.
yeah, the only
Good old,
person
good old Uncle Ben.
Has batting 1,000 on deaths.
yeah, the only person who stays dead is Uncle Ben.
Josh, your thoughts?
I honestly thought the movie was a little bit underwhelming for me. Like, maybe it's just I'm getting a little bit tired of the superhero genre in general. Like, I almost feel like it's sort of formulaic in the way that they pull out their stories, and like the ending always has one super villain who like all the heroes have to team up and have an action sequence where you defeat him. It sort of feels like it's kind of getting stale to me. But the other thing too is I thought they had such an all-star cast of actors, even though they were young, they're proven actors, but I feel like they could have made better use of the actors, and I thought that the writing and the dialogue could have been better. It felt a little bit forced to me, but I guess like I just thought the storyline of Days of Future Past was a little bit sharper, like a little bit clearer. I like the 70s time zone better than the 80s. I don't know.
Yeah. It was somehow more complicated, but just pulled off way better, way smoother.
Yeah.
and especially because they had the 8 chronological story, right?
Yeah.
And this one was linear, and then maybe that's what kind of after seeing something like Days of Future Past and what they pulled off with that, and then this one just kind of being like a very steady but kind of up and like every now and then there's just this plateau. We're just like, oh yeah, now we're gonna break a little bit of the world. Now we're gonna break more of the world. Now we're really breaking the world. But I do like how you mentioned that. Like, one thing I do like that they do well for the whole movie is the comic relief in all 3 of the movies, actually. So that's something that the Marvel movies seldom pull off well.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of the stronger parts of the film, to be honest, yeah. I thought Fassbender's was one of the best performances out of all the actors in the film. Like, he always seems like he's, like, really passionate and, like, really into his role. Like, he, like, really, like, puts, like, a really big effort. Like, I don't know.
Or he's a natural.
Yeah, he's just a
great
naturally
actor.
good actor, yeah.
I like that Magneto was like the only one that didn't have to be like brainwashed by Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He touches Storm and like brainwashes her, and he brainwashes Psylocke and presumably also Angel. They're all brainwashed and they're going with him because they don't really have much of a choice. But Magneto, he's just such a complex character that he doesn't care. He's
Yeah,
gonna
he
destroy
chooses
the
by
world.
his
He
own
doesn't have
free
anything
will.
left.
He just
right?
needs the nudge.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
and you mentioned the mirroring of the first scene from the movie, but Apocalypse's whole arc is very similar to what Magneto is trying to do in the first X-Men movie as well, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's talking about purifying, more or less cleansing the earth through fire is what Apocalypse is trying to do. Magneto's plan is a little bit more convoluted than that. He's trying to make everyone a mutant, but seems to openly acknowledge that Latia aren't going to make it when I do this, and that's just what the world needs. This is
You're
the
going
next
back
step
to the
of-
very
Yeah,
first
that-
X-Men movie.
yeah, and I did kind of notice
2002.
that. and-
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, I'm like,
That's not first
oh my god, I
class.
thought that was Kevin Bacon, but then no.
yeah, no, like the original X-Men movie has
Yes.
it's a bit of a
Maybe.
bigger scope in that in X-Men it's only New York, whereas
Yeah.
the whole world, but it's a very, very similar plan to me. It seems.
It's true,
Mhm.
yeah, and I still remember from
Yeah.
the first movie after Eric and Charles meet and Magneto's walking away and he says, "We are the future Charles, not them."
Yeah.
Nice. In my opinion, the two best scenes, single scenes in Marvel movies, his from the last one and his from this one. IMO.
I like the
like
Quicksilver scene in
Quicksilver.
this one.
Quicksilver's scene.
I was
Yeah,
surprised
I really
that I
liked
thought
it.
they even.
I was a bit under.
improved on it. Or
Yeah, I
what?
thought they improved on it. I thought they took it to a next level, which was.
I thought it was a bit too funny. Like maybe because we know that he's gonna we already know what's gonna happen.
They're milking it.
That
They're just like, "All right, this
I
movie's
felt it
not
went
as
on.
good as the
I felt
last
it went
one."
on a little
Yeah.
long,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a bit too laugh tracky, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
And
I
like
see
the
what you're
Nightcrawler
saying.
one, the Nightcrawler scene mentioned like when Nightcrawler wakes up, he's like, "Oh, what did I miss?" That's like roll laugh track, right? Like
Yeah.
that's saying like a laugh track moment.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying with the Quicksilver scene. It felt a little saturated because there's so many people to save, and it's just like, okay, well, we have to come up with something different for every one of these people. And it's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna toss these people and like this and that, right? Like,
New Mutants,
Mm.
standouts, not standouts, kind of mediocre. Just what you thought of them, Josh. What do you think?
Well, I actually did, like, not by popular belief here, but like I actually did like Angel. Like, I thought he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, just because like a lot of times when I've seen him in the comics and stuff, he's a lot more tame than that. Like, he's not like a heavy drinker, just like drinking like hard liquor, like
Listening to
like getting into
Metallica.
listening to Metallica, getting into bar fights. Like, so I thought it was pretty cool what they did with them, and like I thought it was cool too, just because like he's kind of like a really basic like sort of mutant, like in terms of mutants. Like he's not that powerful or anything like that, but it kind of shows like how much power Apocalypse has to like sort of like make him completely like
Yeah.
powerful and like way more badass, like being able to shoot his feathers. Like he wasn't able to do that before. Like I thought it was just pretty cool, like that they were showing that Apocalypse's like biggest like threat is that he's able to like make other mutants like way more powerful like than they originally would have been.
What did you think?
I guess Stock Angel is pretty lame, but with the metal wings and that, he's kind of badass. I was a bit disappointed when they killed him. I was super surprised when Angel did not make it to the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Storm was completely wasted. Yeah,
Yeah.
Storm, Psylocke was kind of underwhelming. Like you mentioned, she didn't really show up that much. Her fight scenes were good. Storm just kind of sat in the corner.
Like,
At
well
the end.
acted, but
Yeah.
underused.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
fair?
Storm was
Yeah,
completely
she had a-
underused. I also noticed they included Jubilee in the movie, but she didn't do anything.
Yeah,
whatsoever. That
so-
felt like she had scenes that got cut. Like we
That's
didn't even see
actually
what her
true.
powers were.
Yeah, she had scenes
Right?
that got cut. Actually, I was going to bring this up because they had the mall scene, right? All
Yeah.
the New Mutants go to the mall. That scene got cut. I'm guessing the chemistry was meh, and they were just like, well, it doesn't really have a place in the overall plot. What we do see, actually, I kind of like this part of the film. They're coming out of the third Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, and they're talking about trilogies. And the Star Wars trilogy,
meta joke,
right?
yes.
Empire Strikes Back is the best one. Someone says. Someone's like, oh no, I don't know. You needed the first one, A New Hope. Nothing would have happened without that, right?
But the third one's always
the worst. You can,
Yeah.
And they all agreed on that.
So,
like,
Wink, wink.
yeah.